These rappers is shucking and jiving and stuff, getting self in the shit that they can't get out of. Fucking up, here go the flux. A display of lyrics and patterns and rhythms by Side and Young Buck.
For viewers' discretion is only factual, non-fiction, homie. The rule of the thumb sticking out cause you know me. Federal, pimp lock the block, you can't hold me. Situation getting heavy, ammo get low, need my homie, what's up?
When your homie ride on you, you know from the five. Over there on these bitches is devious as we gon' get on this shit. Let's talk, let's not sit on this shit. We the shit on this shit, they just spit on this
So
shit.
much psychodramatic, oh havoc, get this bit crazy, the range with it, this shit buck inside is the physicist. Belligerent, feel it, cause we ignorant. Nigga, y'all in it, the flux is the subject of weight and adrenaline, the feel of bitch. Side the medic, buck the relic, and drama that did it to him once again. Chance that you get, change to your face, and the blood to the covers, undisputed bitch.
And again, to the end of the pen, be worse than this sin against sin. I'm feeling fenced in. From birth, saw the light of the earth, and I've been fucked up since then. This fusion, clenching, the might get that bitch contusions. It's two of Chicago's fucking gruesome. Introducing to you the flux.
What up, Taco Crew? I appreciate you guys joining me here this afternoon. We have some things to talk about, man. Let's go.
My flow of ideas for years been thrilling in me. Please don't stop this feeling in me before the feeling get to killing in me. See, I'm into mayhem. When the play hit the streets of havoc, and then I'm ready to leave your grave in. Lucifer got nothing to do with this shit. To the days of dirt, getting fucked up within. And I put that on the house, bitch. To the days of the dirt, you gon' cancel that down shit. What the fuck are you
And you can inhale the danger. Consider this us spilling out pails of anger. Fuck around, swell a vein up and make you rebel on a stranger. Can't contain the things I'm thinking. Sometimes I be feel like I'm sinking in the motherfucking words of the rap. Floating in the ink pen, breathing and blinking as I lead you to the brink and push you off in the deep end of the issue. Out of the realm of reaching, you ain't gonna know what the fuck hit you cause you sleeping. Chicago will be your motherfucking shit. Here to show you how worse of it fucking get. Don't play by books. I'm really up in it, burning the rules. Fuck that instruction shit.
What is going on, everybody? My name is Jesse, aka your very own one and only Chi-Town Smart, and today we have some extremely unfortunate things to discuss on this show. But before we get into it, I want to thank each and every last single one of you for taking the time out of your afternoons to hang out with your boy, man, and talk about the big elephant in the room, all right? Before we do, I want to say, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up if you have not already. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. All of that usual stuff. I know every last single person sitting in front of one of these cameras and microphones always say that, but we do it for a reason, because it helps the channel grow. Also, we're going to be engaged in a little bit of dialogue. If you would like to give some testimony as to your thoughts on today, if you would like to share your feelings about some of the ways that you were affected by today's news, please feel free to do so via Super Chat, and we will discuss it. Before we go any further, I want to give a shout out to Malcolm Jamal Warner. We lost one of the greats in our childhood. The Cosby Show, Theo Huxtable, if you're unfamiliar, passed away via drowning the other day. Terrible news. Some of us may have forgotten about Michael Madsen. Very famous actor, very great actor. Reservoir Dogs is my favorite Michael Madsen movie, personally. We lost a rock and roll / metal icon in Ozzy Osbourne. Ozzy was extremely infamous. He was extremely out there. He wasn't my cup of tea, but I'm very, very familiar with how Ozzy impacted the music industry and people who were into his music, and my hearts go out to them as well. Just recently, we just lost Chuck Mangione. This just happened a few minutes ago. I'm familiar with Chuck Mangione because I'm a huge King of the Hill fan. If you are a King of the Hill fan, then you know exactly who Chuck Mangione is. If you are not and you would like to look into it to see who he is, you can go ahead and look into that. But most of us, all of us, are here for Mr. Terry Gene Bollea, a.k.a. Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan has passed away this morning due to cardiac arrest. This was first reported by TMZ, confirmed by his family, friends, everything else. He was in the news recently for his medical issues. There was a ton of speculation about his health. There were recent reports that he was in a coma. His wife denied those reports. Bubba the Love Sponge spoke out, said his health was in dire straits. It was all over the place. Eric Bischoff, everybody had, Jimmy Hart, everybody had comments about his health. There was a lot of inconsistencies. Well, now we know that his health was not in the best place, and he has passed away this morning. So this podcast is going to be a little bit different because I'm sure you guys are all aware there are emotions all over the place right now about this passing, about this situation. All right. And I want to make one thing clear here is that we are going to do our best to respect both sides of the spectrum here in regards to the passing of Hulk Hogan. Because personally, I am of two feelings about this right about now. All right. As a black man who grew up in the 80s watching Hogan and hearing some of the things that he said, it affected me. But nonetheless, growing up with Hogan in the 80s, wrestling would not be where it is today without that man. And I'm very, very aware of that. So let's try to keep that same energy, amongst each other in the chat and everything else. We all feel a certain way. Nobody is wrong in their feelings. But at the end of the day, we're going to be respectful to both sides because that's just how we do things around here, all right? I prepared a little something. That I want to read for you guys just to kind of set the tone of what we're dealing with here today. So bear with me and let's do it. Hulk Hogan, born Terry Gene Bollea on August 11th, 1953 in Augusta, Georgia, was a transformative figure in pro wrestling whose larger-than-life persona captivated millions and ushered in a golden era for the sport. Before his wrestling fame, Bollea was a musician, played bass guitar in several Florida-based rock bands. He dropped out of University of South Florida to pursue music. His entry into wrestling came after he was discovered by wrestlers Jack and Gerald Briscoe. He was trained by Hiro Matsuda, making his debut in August of 1977. That is the year I was born, in February. He initially wrestled under various names, including the Super Destroyer, and as one half of the Boulder Brothers with Ed Leslie, a.k.a. Brutus, the Barber Beefcake. The Hulk moniker came after an appearance on TV alongside Lou Ferrigno and Vince McMahon Sr. gave him the Hogan surname. Hogan's career truly exploded when he returned to the WWF in 1983. His victory over the Iron Sheik for the WWF Championship in 1984 marked the beginning of Hulkamania. Clad in his iconic red and yellow, Hulk Hogan became a symbol of American patriotism, urging the Hulkamaniacs to train, say your prayers, take your vitamins, drink your milk. All right. He headlined 8 of the first 9 WrestleMania main events, including his legendary body slam over Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 3 in 1987. Every last single wrestling fan on the planet remembers that moment. If you weren't around for it, you heard about it. It was a simple body slam, and it was the most iconic thing to ever happen in this sport. His charisma and in-ring presence helped elevate professional wrestling into mainstream entertainment. In the mid-1990s, Hogan made a shocking move to WCW, where he reinvented himself as Hollywood Hulk Hogan, the leader of the NWO. This controversial turn revitalized his career and played a significant role in the Monday Night Wars, another significant time in pro wrestling history. A highly competitive period between WWF and WCW. He won the WCW World Championship title 6 times during that period. Beyond the wrestling ring, Hogan ventured into acting, appearing in films such as Rocky III in 1982, No Holds Barred in 1989, Suburban Commando in 1991, and Mr. Nanny in 1993. He also starred in television shows like Hogan Knows Best and Thunder in Paradise. Hogan's personal life has also been in the public eye, marked by multiple marriages and controversies, though. He was married to Linda from 1983 to 2009, Jennifer McDaniel from 2010 to 2021, and Sky Daly, which was his current wife, his current widow. He faced accusations of steroids in the 1990s, and more recently was involved in a lawsuit against Gawker Media following the release of a sex tape. He also faced public backlash for racist remarks that led to his temporary removal from the WWE Hall of Fame, though he was later reinstated. Hogan officially retired from active wrestling in 2012, though he continued to make sporadic appearances in WWE. He was inducted to the WWE Hall of Fame in 2005 and again in 2020 as a member of the NWO. Despite the controversies, Hulk Hogan's impact in professional wrestling and pop culture remains undeniable, solidifying his legacy as one of the most recognizable and influential figures in entertainment history. All right. So there is a lot to unpack there. You can't deny this guy's impact on pro wrestling. That's not even up for debate. You know, he pretty much laid down the groundwork. He laid down the blueprint of what pro wrestling was in the 80s, what it was in the 90s. Everything that you see in pro wrestling today was shaped by Hulk Hogan and Vince McMahon. That's just undeniable, okay? This is going to be one of those times where down the road later on, people are going to ask, where were you when you found out that Hulk Hogan passed away? This is going to be one of those times. For me, it's the same kind of feeling like when Michael Jackson passed away. I remember exactly where I was and what I was doing when Hulk Hogan when Michael Jackson passed away as well. You know, it feels surreal. It does feel surreal. There's been a lot of talk about his health in recent news. JD and Salamonster covered it just recently on TNT. There was a lot of back and forth. There was a lot of he's fine, he's not fine, he was in a coma, no he wasn't. And now we have the truth in front of us, unfortunately. All right. Now, for all his accomplishments, for all of the things that he has done, his last appearance on WWE television just did not go very well. And that is going to be the last thing remembered as far as his appearance on a wrestling television show, when he got booed out of the building, and, what can I say? Like I said, when I started this stream, I'm going to do my best. I'm going to do my best to kind of try to relay both sides of the fence here, to try to relay the opinions of everyone that may feel a certain way about the guy. Like I said, his career didn't come without controversy. He was recorded saying some things about his daughter's boyfriend, who he found out was black. And I'm going to leave that part there and let you guys go look into what he actually said. But for those of you who do not feel that side of it, and you just feel that, you lost a great icon in pro wrestling, I'm just here to let you guys know that as a black man, what he said was hurtful, okay? It was extremely hurtful. And it was probably more hurtful than anything else because of who it came from. He didn't say anything that we have never heard before, but he did say some things that we've never heard the great Hulk Hogan say before. We didn't know that these were things that Hulk Hogan would ever say. Okay? And I think that's the part that makes it hurt the most. So there are people who say, well, he said this and whatever. It's been said before. It's not that big of a deal. Let's move on. What I'll say to those people is, I don't think you understand is it's who is saying it. It's the same. It's the Hulkster. It's the guy that told me to take my vitamins and say my prayers and drink my milk and everything else. Turns out that these are the words that he says behind closed doors. That's what made it so hurtful. If it was just another random guy that nobody ever knew that we didn't know and he said those things, we would just say, okay, fine, whatever. But hearing that he said those things is kind of messed up. The small saving grace is that, he didn't know he was being recorded when he said it. It was a violation of his privacy and everything like that. And that is true. That is true. He did not publicly say these things with the intentions of hurting anyone's feelings. He thought he was in his private moments. So I get it. But at the same time, he said it. The only argument, the only dispute that he would be able to have, from us would be, I didn't say it. But we know you said it because it was recorded and we heard it. That's the part that hurts the most. That's why people feel a certain way about him. I still wouldn't go around saying some of the horrible things that these people are saying after he passed away. Why? Because for the people that are still here, they're still grieving. They're still wrestling fans just like us, and they're grieving. And when someone is grieving, it is not the time to take that moment to rub in their faces the horrible things that someone did. All right? Because I tell you something else. Everyone that has ever lived on this planet and walked this earth, everyone has done some things and said some things that they're not proud of. All right? They're not, they're ashamed of them. They can't take them back. They happened, and the guy has passed away. I'll admit, while he was still here, I wasn't the biggest fan of him anymore. I couldn't find myself. I couldn't bring myself to be a big fan of him anymore. I'm not gonna go out and cheer him, and sing the "I'm the Real American" song with him. Why? Because I've read the comments. I've read the things that he said, and it's not pretty, man. It's kind of hard to hear those things and then go out and cheer for somebody. So for that reason, it kind of left it kind of left a sore spot on me. But the guy has passed away. His friends and family are still here. His fans are still here. Even the fans that, yes, they don't agree with what he said. They're not happy about what he said, but they still idolize the guy. They're still big fans of him. And at a moment of grief, at the time where the guy just passed away, no one wants to hear about all of the terrible things that they did. It's at some point, we're all going to go. We are all going to leave this planet. And when we do you really want someone going around and reading off and listing everything that you've ever said and done wrong? You know what I'm saying? At your funeral, at your services, do you want someone going around talking about everything that you did not do correctly in your life? It's not the time for that, really. It is not the time for that. You're not wrong in your feelings, all right? If this is the way, if this is the way that you feel, I understand, but there's a time and place for everything. That's the part I want you guys to understand. And for the people that are saying, oh, well, get over it. The man has passed. It's not easy to get over either. That's why I started this off with, we just need to have an understanding from both sides, all right? Because me personally, I get it. I understand both sides. All right. What else do we have here? Vince McMahon. All right. The Vince McMahon steroid scandal in the 1990s. Hogan went around and told everybody to take their vitamins, and then he got accused of using steroids. And at a moment where everyone thought that he was going to throw Vince McMahon under the bus in the federal steroid trial, he did not. He did not. And I believe that was at a time where him and Vince McMahon were not on good terms. It's not like, oh, they were still buddy-buddy, and of course he's going to lie to him. They were not on good terms. And he didn't, he kept it to himself. He didn't throw Vince McMahon under the bus. And I think for that reason, I think that is why Vince McMahon is forever in debt to Hulk Hogan. Because look, for all intents and purposes, whatever Vince and Hogan did during that time and during that situation, they did it together, okay? They did it together. So there's no reason to throw anyone under the bus. You take what you get like a man and you deal with it, and that's what Hogan did. So that was actually a pretty stand-up thing that Hogan did in that era in regards to Vince McMahon and the steroid scandal. What else did he do here? He the Hogan Knows Best reality TV show. That was this happened at a time. This happened at a time when reality television had kind of taken off and taken a whole new life of its own. And he opened up the cameras to come in and record his family. And Hogan was already a household name, but doing Hogan Knows Best made him an even bigger star. It made his family stars, Nick Hogan, Brooke, and unfortunately, with all of that fame and celebrity just came fame and celebrity. You know what I'm saying? Nick Hogan had issues. Brooke Hogan had issues. It was then around that time, not too long after that, the Gawker lawsuit happened and everything like that. We're not gonna get into all of that, but yeah, he had his downs. He had his best moments when he was active when he was inactive, things just kind of went crazy. As of late, and again, like I said before, when you hear all the comments that Hogan made, about black people, you might maybe feel a certain way, but then it turns out that Hogan wakes up and goes absolute full MAGA. He went to the Republican National Convention, and he had some MAGA words to say and everything like that, and that kind of also fed fuel into the whole I don't like Hogan anymore and everything like that. And again, guys, when you start integrating politics and personal beliefs and everything like that into your personal life, it just never goes well. It just never goes well. And if you guys know me, you guys know how I feel about this whole situation. But again, I'm trying to be sensitive to both sides here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pay homage to a guy that has absolutely revolutionized everything that we all love here, which is pro wrestling. All right. Pro wrestling is he made pro wrestling a household entity. He was the absolute first pro wrestler to become a household name. Were there big stars before Hogan? Absolutely, man. Absolutely. But the term household name was pretty much revolutionized by Hulk Hogan. Everybody knows who he is. Absolutely everyone on the planet knows. When you have certain sports and things like that, you have that one person that transcends that sport and just becomes a megastar across the planet. Michael Jordan. It is very safe to say, ironically, that Hulk Hogan is the Michael Jordan of pro wrestling. Everybody on the planet knows who he is. Despite whether you like basketball, despite whether you like wrestling, you know who these individuals are, and there's just no debating it. You can not like them, but you still know who they are. You know what I'm saying? And that was done by Hulk Hogan, along with Vince McMahon. And it feels like one day, I'm not too sure how long in the future, but one day we're going to be sitting having the same absolute discussion about Vince McMahon. In the same vein, in the same light, because we all know that did not come without controversy as well. Now, let's see what else did I have here. I got two-time Hall of Famer, return to WWE, global recognition, the steroid scandal, and I had some reactions of celebrities. I have a statement released by Vince McMahon. All right. Vince McMahon says today, the world lost a treasure. Hogan was the greatest WWE superstar of all time, someone who was loved and admired around the world. He was a trailblazer, the first performer who transitioned from being a wrestling star into a global phenomenon. His grit and unbridled thirst for success were unparalleled, and made him a consummate performer. He gave everything he had to the audience whom he appreciated, respected, and loved. He leaves us with one of his favorite expressions, train, take your vitamins, say your prayers. Today, we pray for him. It's a very nice statement by Vince McMahon. Very nice statement by Vince McMahon. Sylvester Stallone, who starred in Rocky with Hulk Hogan, posted on Instagram saying he was absolutely wonderful and his amazing skill made Rocky 3 incredibly special. My heart breaks. Ric Flair had a meltdown. Quite a few other celebrities have left their thoughts and prayers about Hulk Hogan. This is a huge loss. This is a huge loss. No matter where you stand on it, whether you like the guy or not like the guy, this is a huge loss. And me personally, I don't wish this kind of harm onto anyone. You know, I'm hoping he didn't suffer. I'm told it was a cardiac event. I'm hoping that it was not too terrible. I'm not familiar with the entire medical situation that he had going on leading up to his passing. But from what I can tell, his health was declining, and they did their best to keep it under wraps. He was getting ready to launch a wrestling promotion with Eric Bischoff next month. You know, so I mean, so that tells me that it seems very sudden that this happened. I don't know what to say, man. I don't know what to say. Let's get to a couple of your comments here today. Let's get to some of your thoughts. See what you guys have to say about that. Tony Brown says, "What's up, young man? I say that because the Hulkster and I were the same age." You know that's another thing, Tony Brown. When you hear someone that you grew up alongside with that was the same age as you, and then you see that they pass away through natural causes, man, it kind of hits you in the feels, you know. It kind of hits you in your emotions because it makes you reflect on your entire life and everything that you had going on. Thank you so much, Tony Brown. Gus says, they always go in threes. Malcolm Jamal Warner, Ozzy, Hogan. All three grew up with, if you're from Generation X. It's absolutely correct, man. That is absolutely true. July has been very, very rough for Generation X. It's just not been a good time. What else can you say, man? What else can you say? Guys, that is all I have, man. That is all I have. I just wanted to come on and give my thoughts, go over the guy's career. My biggest takeaway, the biggest thing I wanted to go over was the reactions going around right now on social media about his passing. To the people that are going around, you know, saying just some of the horrible fucking things that they're saying out there. I mean, it's messed up, man. And I'm only saying that because timing. Let people grieve. Nobody wants to hear about all of the horrible things that someone's done when they pass away, man. It is an absolute. Social media has become an absolute cesspool. It really has. I'm not even gonna sit here and say that you're wrong or you're right. What I'm telling you is timing is everything. All right. And for the people who are grieving and you see someone just being disrespectful and ignorant, just ignore them. Just ignore them, man. Because going around and, I mean, how is this going to make anything better? You're frustrated because the guy passed away and he meant a lot to you. These guys are sitting there trying to rub it in your faces. Now you're going to sit there and go back and forth and argue. Just let it fucking go. The goal and the plan here is to heal as a community as opposed to making things worse. How is that going to help? How is that going to help? It's not going to. Thank you guys so much. I didn't want to sit here and take up half of your afternoon. Again, I just kind of wanted to go over the broad strokes of what Hogan brought to us in his career, how he revolutionized this business that we all, to this day, we still love. And we, hold on. Billy Sazane with the $20 bomb. Billy says, today is a rough day. I lost some too this week. Whether people liked or hated Hulk, he changed wrestling. Rip to all we lost this week. Stay safe and healthy. You the man, Jesse. Billy, thank you so much, man. It's guys, it's been a rough It's been a rough week, man. It has been a rough week. And, you know, as I was sitting here preparing this show, as I'm sitting here writing everything, then I hear about Chuck Mangione passing away. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, that's not gonna affect me anywhere near as much as Malcolm and Hogan and Ozzy. But again, just death happening just like that, and again like this. Death sucks, man. It sucks on every level. No one wants to see someone have to go through it. I mean, especially the people who are left behind, the friends, the family, the fans. We are the ones left here to grieve. Hogan has moved on to a better place. All right. Wherever that place is, you may think it is up high, it is up low. To be honest, if you ask me, both places are really better than what's going on right about now. But that's just me. Thank you guys for being here. I really do appreciate it. I was going to go over some other news and everything like that, but none of that news is important anymore. All of that news pales in comparison. We're here to pay our respects to Terry Bollea, a.k.a. Hulk Hogan, for what he brought to this business, the legacy that he leaves behind professionally, all right? And again, for all of the other stuff, and this is coming from a black man, all this other stuff that people did not like him for, it's over. It's over. It's fine. You can believe what you want to believe about him and his legacy. You can keep your thoughts and feelings about him to yourself if they're that bad, and just let the people grieve that are still here and that idolized him and everything that he did for this business. Guys, that is going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I appreciate every last single one of you. I want to also thank real quick Sarah Hapka. Thank you so much. Dennis, thank you so much for subscribing and becoming Taco Crew members. I will see you guys next time, bruh. Peace.
My continuous output, my flow of ideas for years been thrilling in me. Please don't stop this feeling in me before the feeling get to killing in me. See, I'm into mayhem. When I play, hear the shrieks of havoc, and then I'm ready to leave your grave in. Lucifer got nothing to do with this shit. To the days of dirt, you're getting fucked up within. And I put that on the house, bitch. To the days of the dirt, you gon' cancel that down shit. Silly motherfucker.
And you can inhale the danger. Consider this us spilling out pails of anger. Fuck around, swell a vein up and make you rebel on a stranger. Get contained up, things I'm thinking. Sometimes I be feel like I'm sinking in the motherfucking words of the rap. Floating in the ink pen, breathing and blinking as I lead you to the brink and push you off in the deep end of the issue. Out of the realm of reaching, you ain't gonna know what the fuck hit you cause you sleeping. Chicago up in your motherfucking shit. Here to show you how worse of it fucking get. Don't play by books. I'm really up in it, burning the